Man, oh man, the second best weekend of the year is finally here. Conference weekend is set and we have a loaded slate of fun. One thing I am sure several of us wonder every year is, hey, I want to watch, let's say, the SoCon finals or the Big Ten quarters, but I have no idea where to find these channels or streams. Well, no need to fear, Tanner from TrueTan Wrestling is here to answer all your frequently asked questions in the wrestling community. To give a quick rundown of what exactly this video is, well, first and foremost, I'm going through every conference one by one and telling you guys how and when to watch these matches and where exactly to find each channel. I also decided to combine a few video ideas, so when I'm going through each conference, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of insight that I think is the best thing to watch for in each conference. Obviously, some conferences will have much more to talk about than others, but I'm going to try and contain myself and not go too far on a tangent. This is a video I've been working on and off for a little while now, but it was hard to push out considering we kind of just got information on allocations and broadcast schedules and seating for some conferences, so I'm happy I can finally get it out to you guys because the fans deserve it. With all that said, before we dive in, be sure to like and subscribe if you end up enjoying this video, and leaving a comment on your favorite conference, or if you have any questions throughout, leave a comment in the comment section below. I would be more than happy to answer any and all questions to the best of my abilities. I'll start off with the conference everyone wants to hear about, and that is the Big Ten. This tournament is ran March 5th and 6th through BTN Plus for consolation matches, or if you want to switch to any mat. Big Ten Network will cover all major rounds like quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals, and they'll cover the first round in a red zone fashion, which I personally enjoy, and the commentary is normally pretty well done by the Big Ten Network staff. The first thing I really want to talk about and sort of get out of the way is the allocations at some of these weight classes. I like to say I think the process is very well done and is the best it's been for a very long time. However, it is natural for people to get upset because there are some really good guys that will miss out on the big show or not receive allocations for their conference even though they have a pretty impressive resume. This is just the way it goes, and I'm not an expert in how it's done, but man, sometimes these allocations just seem a little bit too wild for me. I mean, I have never, and I repeat, I have never seen a weight class get 12 spots to nationals. There's only 14 teams in the conference. 197 also got 11, which is still a lot in my opinion. Before the allocations came out at 184, I was thinking, man, this weight is really loaded, but I did not expect to see all 12 of those tough guys get an allocation for the Big Ten. But then there's weights like 141 that is absolutely loaded, but they only got the usual Big Ten 7 allocation spots. Now, I know this just means other conferences are a little weaker at this weight, and these guys met the requirements, and at least we can mathematically break it down to figure out how they qualified an allocation spot, so there's really nothing we can do, and to be fair, Nationals is still going to get the best guys there, and the best guys will win regardless, and the Big Ten tournament will still be awesome, so what is there really to complain about? I'm not even mad. The opportunity to go to Nationals is awesome, and anyone who can do it is still a stud. I just have so many questions every year about some weight classes that allocate this many guys, and then sometimes I'm just left stunned regardless. Alrighty, well that was almost a page ranting about allocations, but now with that out of the way, let's please talk about some real wrestling. At 125, like always, it is super deep in this conference, and there is some straight killers in this bracket, and some rematches or potential matchups I really want to see. EIWAS returned into the lineup, and if he continues to look alright even with his shoulder injury, he should be super dangerous in this weight class, and I really want to see a Hildebrandt versus Ayala match. Two totally different styles going at it. Barnett of Wisconsin has a serious chance to really do well in this weight class and looks better in all positions from last year. Schroeder of Purdue is also a landmine favorite to always blow up these brackets, even though he is on the tougher side of the bracket. Who knows what version of McKee in Minnesota we're gonna get, but heck, he could even win the whole bracket, who knows? Siriano is clearly the favorite to win it all, but I will say it now, I do not think it will be a cakewalk for him to take this bracket. Whoever makes it against him on the other side of the bracket in the finals, or maybe even the semifinals, will make it a dogfight. Now, I'm not saying they will win because Siriano is an extremely tough wrestler, but I'm just saying it could be very close. 141 pounds is also clearly my must-watch TV weight class out of any conference in the nation. I mean, apparently Micic of Michigan and Chad Red of Nebraska didn't even get spots for their weight class, which if you told anyone that a few weeks ago, they would have looked at you like you were crazy. That also speaks to the depth of this weight class nationally though. The big three at this weight class also take the cake for don't miss matches. Nick Lee of Penn State has beaten Ironman of Iowa twice at this point, but Rivera of Rutgers has yet to see any of them this year, but did lose to Nick Lee twice last season. Rivera versus Ironman is a match I need to see. I know Rivera has had a semi-strong schedule, but this dude has clearly made huge jumps from his offseason last year, which at this point in a career is pretty impressive that you can continue to jump levels like this, and he just continues to do it year over year. Add several other landmines to this weight, and you have a classic Big Ten loaded weight class. Final thing to mention within the Big Ten is that 165 and 174 semifinals are going to be absolutely wild. Whoever makes the finals of these weights completely deserves to be there. It's funny to think of Marinelli of Iowa as the old man with a bunch of youngsters trying to knock him off, because that is exactly what he was doing his freshman year with guys like Isaiah Martinez of Illinois and even Logan Massa of Michigan back when he was a 165. And then 174 is full of veterans and young Starocci trying to take home a Big Ten title. And yes, of course, I have to mention that Starocci and Kemmer are on the same side of the bracket for Big Ten, which is going to be a crazy Saturday night semifinal. But hey, I mean, that's just kind of how the matchups work during the season, so I kind of can't argue this. I mean, it's unfortunate, but can't really argue it. It's going to be exciting regardless. Next up is the only Friday and Saturday conference with the MAC, which might not seem too exciting, but I think there is always something to watch in every weight class of this conference. You can watch all the action on ESPN Plus, so you will need a subscription to get that. Like everywhere in the country, 141 is super tough, and they have a round of 12 finisher Simon of Central Michigan leading the way, and he's not even undefeated in MAC play, so I really think this is a wide open weight class, and it's still going to be super fun to watch. Central Michigan is entering the tournament as the heavy favorite to win the MAC, especially with Missouri moving to the Big 12, but there are other teams like Ohio University, Lock Haven, and Clarion who all have some super sleepers and really scrappy teams that could steal a few of the spots in the MAC or even get at-large bids. Like I said, some of them have really good resumes. 184 is definitely my must-watch MAC weight class with at least 6 to 7, heck, maybe even plus that number, of guys that could win the entire weight. There is young guys, old guys, and top-tier wrestlers batting for the 2 automatic spots at this weight. It is just so deep, and it really stinks that only 2 of them can automatically qualify, but we'll just have to wait to see it play out. Also, keep your eyes on heavyweight because Stencil could be a 5-time conference champ, and no matter what conference you're in or how you look at it, that's super impressive considering it's normally impossible to do that. The next conference to talk about is probably the second toughest in the land, and that is the Big 12, which you can watch every round on ESPN Plus, and then the finals on ESPN2, which is awesome coverage for the sport. The dates are March 5th and 6th, and I would like to say that the Big 12 teams are really investing in their wrestling programs, and the conference as a whole has become significantly better year over year, and it's really exciting to see a conference rival the Big 10 in talent. 197 is a perfect example of a super strong weight class. Even with the exit of AJ Ferrari for Oklahoma State, this weight is incredibly strong. We have guys like Buchanan of Wyoming, who is a serious contender to win it all in March, along with another returning All-American in Woodley of Oklahoma, who is a little unpredictable, but he beat Cuban star from Iowa State Bastida, who beat another star at this weight, Rocky Hill, Missouri, who is a savage in his own right. Finally, I need to highlight Iowa State's chances of winning the Big 12 tournament, like they won the dual portion of the schedule. I think the race is going to be super tight, and they are going to need some luck based on seeding and some other guys' placement in the brackets from other teams, but based on other teams' performances compared to theirs, I honestly think it's going to be a 3-horse race between them, Missouri, and Oklahoma State. But honestly, based on last year's Big 12 tournament, who really knows what's going to happen, but I'm really excited to see who's going to win this one, and it's going to be an awesome team race regardless. EIWAS is the last of the 2-day conferences to watch out for on March 5th and 6th, and they can be watched on Flow Wrestling with a subscription. I have nothing really specific to point out here in this conference, maybe Glory vs. Vito round 2 at 125, but this is the biggest wrestling conference in the nation with 16 plus man brackets, and it results in some awesome fun matches. Honestly, EIWAs has some smaller schools, but it's normally one of my favorite conferences to watch all weekend. 157 has 8 quality guys seeded with all serious chances of winning it, and maybe even placing in the big show. Overall, you really cannot beat EIWAs with massive brackets and several quality wrestlers from smaller schools. At the minimum, every weight has at least 4 guys battling for a title, and the semifinals will always be must-watch TV, so you will not want to miss those semifinals. Now, starting with one of the 3 one-day conference tournaments. Man, that is probably so clutch to only have to weigh in once instead of twice. But regardless, here's Pac-12s, which will run on March 6th on the Pac-12 network. The main weight I would watch out for is 149 and 165, along with several other cool matchups to look out for. 149 is a returning All-American Abbas of Stanford, who is super battle-tested and will have some serious strong matches at Pac-12. The leader at the weight is another returning All-American in Parco of Arizona State, the Fresno State transfer, who has looked really impressive this year, and Arizona State has definitely built him into an even better wrestler. Lamer of Cal Poly and Crooks of Oregon State are also landmines of these 2 top dogs, dogs and can cause some serious trouble for them. 165 is also a clear weight to watch out for on March 6th, with the top dog Evan Wick of Cal Poly, the transfer from Wisconsin, and man, he has looked super impressive this year, easily making some year-off adjustments. Griffiths of Stanford is 0-2 against him, but he's still a returning national champ, and then returning All-American Anthony Valencia of Arizona State is still in the field to cause problems. Moving right along, the SoCon is held on March 5th on ESPN+, so you'll need a subscription to watch that, but at least you can watch the full tournament on there, along with the finals, which is normally super competitive. 149, we could see two potential All-American level wrestlers battling out once again, with Milner of Appalachian State, the returning All-American, going up against Howell of Campbell, who has some serious All-American potential. I think Appalachian State is easily the heavy favorite to win it all, and if Campbell wanted to beat them, it was probably their best chance to do it in the duel, because Appalachian State has way too many weapons and veterans for the other SoCon teams to really handle. However, with that said, the Citadel and Chattanooga also have some serious sleepers and national qualifier level wrestlers, so hopefully they show up on Saturday. And we end it all with talking about the ACC! The 6-man tournament will be held on ACC Extra or ESPN Plus essentially, and then the finals on ACC Network for all the fans to enjoy on March 6th. I think 157 and 197 are the deepest weights and have the most to talk about in this conference. However, I am more than down for Mekhi Lewis versus Hayden Hidlay Part 2 at 174, which could be a semi-final with a lot of UNC getting the 1 seed. So very similar to the Big Ten 174 bracket, it is all over the place and extremely crazy, so look out for the ACC and Big Ten at 174. I would also like to highlight heavyweight, which should have some cool rematches, and I think it will be really fun to watch. And 133 is super deep like always, getting 5 spots at the big show, which is super impressive for a 6-team conference. At 197, Trumbull of NC State has beat all the best guys in the conference, but he is also super unpredictable, and Bonacorsi of Pitt is a returning national runner-up, who has had an alright year for someone of his talents. Ayala of Virginia is also tough, but man, Bonacorsi just seems to have his number at this point. 157 is just unbelievably deep, with every school having a super strong contender. I mean, Brady of Virginia Tech is a super tough young freshman, and he's the 6th seed. And on top of that, I really just want to see an O'Connor versus Ed Scott match this season, because we didn't really see it in the duel, and Scott looks so much better compared to last year, but heck, who knows if that will even happen considering we have guys like Keene of Virginia battling for that final spot as well. And also, to be fair, we really haven't seen all that much of O'Connor at 157 this season, so who really knows what form we'll get. Phew, well, to be honest, that was super fun to do, I'm not even gonna lie. I loved researching and double checking everything I wanted to get into, and man, there is a ton I left out, but as you all know, I like recapping events so much more than previewing them, but this weekend is so exciting, it's hard not to talk about conference before they happen. It is literally the second best weekend of the season, so I cannot wait for it to start on Friday. With all that said, if I left anything out you wanted me to talk about, feel free to send me a comment in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video or are a fan of conference weekend, hit that like and subscribe buttons. I am sure you all noticed that I am pumped for this weekend, and I cannot wait to share my thoughts with all of you in the next video. So I will see you in that video. Take care, everybody.